One source of stress would be midterm exams, and one way that I'm dealing with it is by turning it into an opportunity to prove my knowledge.
Okay, right now I am stressed about having enough time to study and being able to get everything that I need to get accomplished done in this short 2 weeks because I know it will fly by. So that's what I'm stressed about. I've been making lots of lists so that I can check things off and feel productive with the time that I am spending, and I have been going to the gym sometimes.
I am stressed out about my architectural drawing class, and I do speak to my friends about it, and I seek help from my TA.
Money has been stressing me out lately, and I mostly go to my family for help.
Family problems have been a huge source of stress for me, and I go to student counseling services to help.
Big source of stress for me right now would definitely be finals, which are coming up, and I haven't started studying yet, and my first one's in a week. Haven't really gotten to some of my classes, so definitely something that's weighing down on me is just not knowing how I'm going to do.
Okay, the thing I'm most stressed about is finding a job and making money and paying for this school. I am talking to friends about it, but just trying to ignore it mostly.
So I'm really stressed about finals, and I'm just talking to my peers and my TAs about the best ways to study.
Right now I'm really stressed about my astronomy final exam, and to help that I am studying with a group of friends.
At Boynton Health, nearly 1,500 new students requested for mental health care in the 2016 fall semester. That represented a 23% increase compared to the fall of 2015. More than 30% of students on each U of M campus report a mental health diagnosis in their lifetime, with anxiety and depression being most common. Additionally, about 35% report an inability to manage stress within the past 12 months.
I guess I would say, I think that in general, the students are really, really stressed, and I think it's an important question for our institution to look at in terms of the landscape is changing a bit in terms of what, the financial responsibility that often falls on students more today than maybe in the past, and how that can create a lot of stress. The rigor in some of the courses and some of the requirements for different colleges. Each college has a different culture, and so there's like some of those dynamics to work through too. But I would say the common denominator is that sometimes students find it really difficult to manage their stress and to figure out those ways to cope. There's oftentimes a deficit in coping skills when I see students when they're coming in first year here in college, and I think that some of that could just be that in high school they had more community and they had more supports and they had their family to help with things, and so coming to college is a major adjustment and trying to figure out where are these supports and where how can I use these to my advantage.
So I actually ended up, I wasn't sleeping, I was hardly eating, I tried getting into working out and weightlifting, and that helped a lot with my mental state and things like that, having that release. It was kind of like a therapy for me. But even with that, I didn't have a job my first year, thankfully, but with all of the extracurriculars and things that I was doing, I saw my days were filled from 6 a.m. until midnight, and with that, it's not sustainable. So I hit a point where I started getting really sick physically from the stress that I was experiencing, and I didn't realize it because, mentally, it's really hard to see that in yourself, to say oh, well, I think there might be something going on in my brain or emotionally or how I feel that's kind of off. But I didn't see that, and it made me really sick, and I ended up vomiting at worst. It was daily for a huge period of time, and at the worst point I was vomiting 17 times a day from stress and anxiety that I didn't even know I had. And I'd never experienced that before because, like I said, I've always been a really good student and it's come pretty easily, so I never thought that was even a possibility for me. So it's definitely the pressures that I was under and didn't even realize.
I thought college was going to be really stressful because adulting, and it is.
So my expectations for college were that I wouldn't have any time and I'd be studying 24/7, but I've found a good balance between studying and hanging out with friends.
So coming into college, I was expecting it to be stressful, I guess, but not more stressful than like high school or anything else was. I knew it would be like different just because I was like moving to a completely new environment, but I didn't think it would be this bad. Like
my expectations for college were that I wouldn't have to work super hard in class. I could just skate right through everything, just like in high school. I didn't really study a lot, didn't really do a lot of work. But I found that I'm really stressed a lot of the time because I didn't really learn how to study.
Which is like interesting because mine's the exact opposite. I thought I was going to be stressed and focusing on work all the time, but I actually like have had an amazing time and made great friends and like balanced social life and work and have more fun than I thought I would.
And I agree with that. Like I do that too. It's just like I'm constantly stressed about something else.
Yeah.
We urge new college students not to party too hard. We warn them of weight gain, or the freshman 15. We also need to tell them that what's often behind all that drinking eating isn't celebration but sadness, which is normal, survivable, and shared by many of the people around them.
I would have a couple things for this. First of all, I would say I wish somebody had told me that 20 credits is way too many, because as a BME student going into your first year and being forced to do 20 credits for both of your semesters, or however many credits if if you need lib eds or extra things like that, it's just not possible. Unless I lied, it's possible, some people do it, but for all the things you want to get involved in, you need to figure out how to balance your time well, which is something that you aren't very well versed in until you do get to college and have the opportunity to do that by yourself. Just understanding that we're all drowning here at the university. You can't be at a university without having so much work to do, but definitely taking some time to refresh your brain. It's hard because your brain is not a tangible thing that you can look at and say like, well, let me polish it up here. But when you do take the time, it makes a world of difference. So I wish somebody would have told me that not everybody has it figured out as much as they're acting like they do. Because, every single student that you get to know is struggling with some course, or they're struggling with some exam they just took, or they're struggling with some familial circumstance. And everybody's going through something, and it's always easier said than understood. But when you're at a big university like this, and you have such a large population of people coming from different places and having their own different experiences, it can be really overwhelming to see all of the success around you and start to feel like you're the only one not experiencing that, which isn't true, because everybody has potential and everybody is fantastic in their own way.